and Robbo.
It's the most talked about TV show that's not on TV.
And I think you guys are amazing.
With raw, honest opinions.
This was not a mistake. This was a lie.
Exclusive stories.
Some industry insiders have been talking about this.
Is that a Ben, Rob and Robbo exclusive?
And plenty of famous faces.
I'm not wasting these gold moments on 60 Minutes.
The Ben, Rob and Robbo Show is the new way to stream your news.
This is the stuff that headlines are made of.
Live every Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Ticker TV or Facebook and Twitter at BRR Show. Watch live or on demand.
Ben, Rob and Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight and David Robinson.
Ben, Rob and Robbo. It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Here's Rob McKnight.
Hello and welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show for this fabulous Thursday. Tipsy Thursday, everybody, and we're joined by David Robinson and Benjamin Norris. Hello, boys. Ben, how's your hair today?
Oh, I'm going for the cassowary look. So if you've been to Hillsville Sanctuary or the Currumbin Sanctuary, you would be familiar with me as a bird with very small wings, large legs, and a big rock on my head. And the best thing about this is David Robinson's come with the same look, so we look like a couple of cassowaries, and I think birds are sexy, which is good because Rob, you think birds are sexy. You like birds, don't you?
I do.
Oh, very good.
Robbo, how are you on this fine day?
Oh, no audio.
Oh,
Super happy, so excited and great that, look, when you got to do your own audio and camera work, you get flustered sometimes. Sorry about that. That is not indicative of what the show is going to be. That was our first and only little speed bump, and we are just fighting fit from now on.
indeed. Well, it's a big show. We've got back-to-back live crosses happening today because there is so much happening. So let's get into our hot button topics because there is a lot to discuss. And, well, just as we thought the news about COVID-19 was dying down in this country, the pandemic is top of mind again for South Australia. As we reported yesterday, the state government has gone into a hard lockdown for 6 days in an effort to contain Adelaide's growing cluster. SA Premier Stephen Marshall spoke to ABC News Breakfast this morning.
Will you make masks mandatory?
Look, we are very likely to make masks mandatory. We have to have, if you like, some, flexibility in the next couple of days because people aren't used to this type of direction. But we are saying that if you're out in public, you should have that mask on during this particularly difficult period.
Look, Kieran Davidson, a good friend of the show, is in lockdown and he joins us now. Kieran, thanks for joining us today.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on the show. Back again.
You are back again, but this time it's a little bit different. How is Adelaide feeling today as you're as far as you can go, you're in your backyard?
Yeah, I'm in my backyard right now. At least it's a sunny day. But look, guys, yesterday I was actually on a film gig at a school and it was announced the lockdown was going on and panic kind of kicked in, to be honest with you. The sense of realisation came down on everyone and we thought, oh my God, we're going to have to be in lockdown for 6 days. Now, although that doesn't sound like a long time, for many South Australians, it will affect them a lot. They can't go out, they can't see friends, they can't see family. Even though we've got 1 million people in this city, it feels like we all know each other in a bit of a way. So being locked away in our home sucks. But I commend Stephen Marshall on what he's done because we've really got to nip this in the bud.
100%. Now, Kieran, I need to ask you this question. You're great in stressful situations. We saw that in Big Brother with the White Room, and then now you're in your own White Room, which is otherwise known as Adelaide. I believe there's panic buying going on. People are trying to find toilet rolls, and as I said, you're familiar with white things. Is there chaos going on in the supermarkets, and are you stockpiling toilet paper?
Look, not even before the lockdown occurred yesterday, people were already going to the supermarkets and getting toilet paper and stuff like that. But I went to get a coffee on my way home after my film gig yesterday, and I passed by the shops, and people were everywhere. I said to one of the guys that was working, I'm so sorry that you're having to work today. And he said, yeah, look, I started off this morning thinking it'd be an easy shift, but in the last hour we've had about 800 people come through. And they're all grabbing toilet paper. I saw one woman run out with 6 packets of shapes. I thought, God, she really must be a bit of a shapes hoarder. And then people were running around with Special K, bread, all things shapes you're going to hoard in 6 days. I don't know how many boxes she's going to have. But, yeah, look, people are going mad. And in my suburb, we've only got one shopping centre, which is only about a kilometre away. So every man and his dog was there yesterday trying to get everything they could. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So, Kieran, what do people in South Australia think about the measurements that the government are putting in place now to essentially protect you from coronavirus?
Look, for us guys, we haven't had any community transition. I think it was maybe 5 months or 4 months before this. So it was a bit of a shock to see that it all come back together. But as I mentioned, I commend the Premier on what he's done, because we've really got to nip this in the bud. We can't be ending up at 500 cases a day or 400 cases a day, just like Victoria was. We really don't want to be trapped in our houses for months on end, because I've got to be out there making TikTok guys. I can't be inside all the time. So, yeah, no, but I commend the Premier on what he's done. And look, we've just got to really come together. The message yesterday from the Premier was we've all got to back each other in, stick with each other, call your friends, call your family, make sure they haven't been in the hotspot areas, make sure they're all okay. Just look after each other during this troubling time, guys.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because yesterday State Opposition Leader Peter how do you say his last name?
I don't even know. Maclazinias, I think it is, or something. I have no idea.
Malinak asked us, and I did actually practice that, and damn it. But he has taken a very different approach to the Victorian opposition, saying he'll work with the government during this time. In a statement, he says, in part, unlike in Victoria, as opposition leader, I'm here to support the government, not undermine it. That starts with having complete faith in our public health officials. We're going to back in their judgment and never doubt their motives. We're going to comply with their requests, not because it's easy, but because it's right. We're going to remain calm, steadfast and resolute in tackling this challenge in a way that only South Australians can. Kieran, this is extraordinary, because we saw the way this played out in Victoria, where we've seen the Liberal state opposition basically just trying to score political points on this. How will this sense of cooperation work with him? Will it make him stand out and show true leadership? And will that give voters in the next election comfort or respect for him? Or will it just play into the government's hands?
Look, I think the opposition leader's done the right thing here by coming out and supporting the Premier, because when you have that divide in state politics and people just trying to get political points, it really doesn't help the situation at all. So I really think he's done a great job in bringing everyone together. And that was the Premier's message that he was going for yesterday. There can't be division at this time of crisis. We've all got to come together, back each other. And I think the opposition leader really took that into consideration when he released his statement yesterday. And look, he may be doing it for political points, but I think us South Australians realise how much of an issue this is, because we all sat back when we were having no cases and we were looking at Melbourne and Victoria and what they were going through. So I think he's realised, I want everyone, no matter political party, no matter affiliation, to come together and really just crush this. Because if we can get through these next 6 days without an issue and we can figure this out, we'll all be out by Christmas. And I think that's every type of thing a person in South Australia wants.
A very good point, mate. Kieran, thanks for joining us. Stay safe, and we'll probably check in with you. Great to see no new cases overnight. So hopefully this 6-day lockdown will sort the issues out. Stay safe, my friend.
Thanks, guys. And I might even, if I can get out of the house in the next 6 days, I might even do some live reporting for you at Rundle Mall if you're interested.
We are interested.
Yes.
We'd very much appreciate that, mate. Thank you.
This was your audition, mate. This was the audition, and you nailed it. So we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
I love it.
Goodbye.
Good on you, mate.
See you, mate.
Bye-bye. All right. As we go to air this afternoon, Australia is in shock after the release of the Afghanistan report. The inquiry has recommended that 19 soldiers be investigated by police for the murders of 39 civilians and the cruel treatment of 2 others. The investigation has also uncovered credible evidence of 25 current or former personnel who were involved in serious crimes or who were accessories. The inquiry spoke to over 420 witnesses. The Inspector General of the Australian Defence Force believes the federal government should pay compensation to the families of victims in Afghanistan. The 2nd Squadron SAS will be disbanded in the wake of the report. General Angus Campbell fronted media this morning, and here's some of what he had to say.
When the rumours were first raised with me late in 2015, I had the sense that there was something here, but I never expected to read some of the material that I have reviewed over the last 2 weeks of allegations with regard to behaviour of modern, professional Australian military personnel. The Special Operations capability is an incredible national asset, but part of it has, by allegation, performed in a way of grave concern to us. There is an enormous amount of effort, and it has been going on now for 5 years and will continue at scale to see that capability returned to what I remember it to be, a magnificent capability across the board. Today, it is extraordinary but not whole, and it must be made whole again, and that's what we're going to do.
Hey, Robbo, this is really a dark day for the country, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. This is awful. What I like, though, is that there is justice that's happening already. This is fantastic. I love the fact that the Inspector General of the Defence Forces is saying, look, despite what happens in this inquiry, despite what the investigations are by the AFP, there needs to be compensation for those people. And that is going to be the biggest thing here. Now, you were rightly so. You brought up some very good comments, and we spoke about this earlier in the week, where it's possible that ISIS would use this as a recruitment tool, that look how bad the West is, they murdered your family and friends and things like that. That's a very real issue, and I really respect that point that you made. The other thing is, I think that the best way is to heal straight away. Don't stuff around with waiting for investigate or waiting for, we know that 39 people essentially have died. There is very credible evidence. Let's get in there first and, try and we'll never take away their pain, but at least we can start by, giving out that olive branch, just saying we're sorry. Sometimes governments, I think a lot of the time governments are scared of saying the S word. I think this would be very, very good and very healing, not only for Australia and Afghanistan, but also the world, to see a big power like us go, this is disgusting, this is awful, we're not going to shy away from that, we are sorry, and here is some, some money and that kind of thing. That's what I hope comes out of this.
Robbo, there's definitely a culture problem here, though. And look, Angus Campbell seemed very resolute here in that they're going to look into it, they're going to fix it, they're going to, get the police involved. It is shocking. We look at Australian soldiers as heroes, and to know that they're behaving in this appalling way it's heartbreaking, because, we've always heard the stories of when Aussie soldiers are overseas, they always impress other countries through their hard work and their skill level. And when you see this kind of these acts, we played a few weeks ago that American who was in that chopper pilot. Yeah. Sorry, who was in the chopper, and they had 7 prisoners and said we only have room for 6 of them, and they heard a bang, we've only got 6. And that is one of the allegations that I'm sure in this report. It is only dropped. It is a redacted version, so there will be details omitted from what is made public. And part 2 of the report that goes into the specifics is not being made public. What does have to happen is this needs to be a public trial, though. I agree with the fact, do not make it all public now, because justice has to be served. These people being accused of these crimes need the opportunity to defend themselves, but the full force of the law should absolutely go towards them. And it is a dark day, and I'm scared about the ramifications for this. This plays into the hands of ISIS beautifully. And that is the real shame, and that is a betrayal to our country, what these soldiers have done.
Absolutely, Rob. When you first started speaking, I was trying to think of the word, and embarrassed was the word that came to mind. But you so beautifully put it there. The word is heartbreaking. I'm getting kind of goosebumps here. It is heartbreaking because, like you said, we have such pride in our defence forces. We have such pride in the way that we work with other countries and other defence forces. And just to see this kind of behaviour is, like you said, it's bloody heartbreaking. It's just awful to think that Aussies have done that in this time of war, and especially when it's about the ideological ideas, and that is, with ISIS, with being what they feel against other countries and things like that. This is really, really tough. I like that the Army is being open about it, also the Defence Force is being open about it. But I agree with you. The full force of the law should happen on this. it's just shocking, because we've heard details like, I believe it's called blooding or bloodletting, I think, where a senior patrolman will take a junior officer and either they will hold the person, they will, tie them up or whatever, and then they must then kill them. The ways of killing them.
And none of that is during actual engagement.
Oh, no,
this is the big thing here. This is happening as initiation ceremonies that are not taking place during engagement of war. These people are breaking the rules of war, which some of our veterans have been very critical of Japanese soldiers for breaking the conventions of war. And now these very people are ruining the legacy of our diggers by doing the same thing.
You're right, because we now can't stand high like we have been able to in the past and look at other countries and say, look, what you did back then was really awful, or what you're doing now is really awful. We are now sub-zero. We are below zero. And there was another thing. It was, like you said, it wasn't in war. It was premeditated. And I just want to give this point. They actually had on them, in this report, it details that these soldiers had other weapons that weren't given by the Australian government, and they would then put them beside the poor Afghani people who they shot or murdered, and would put them beside them to give us evidence that, they were armed and they were shooting. That's premeditated, that is cold, and that needs to be flushed out.
Indeed. Okay, let's move on. And if you're guilty of having a lead foot, beware, because speed cameras are becoming invisible. Well, not exactly. They'll still be there, but the warning signs letting drivers know their location will be phased out in New South Wales over the next 12 months. Authorities are hoping the removal will increase the general deterrence against speeding. The government believes that up to 43 lives could be saved and stop around 600 serious injuries per year. So, Ben, the cynic in me here says, revenue raising, because I do think seeing those signs is a deterrent.
Yeah, I guess so. Is it just me, and let's just be really honest about this, we've all got a speeding fine in our time. I'm 40, so I've at least, got 40 of them. You've got to have a license, Robbo. I'm not joking.
Never had a speeding fine. Never.
Dodgem car.
I have a folder stacked full of them.
I'm just saying that when it comes down to it, let's talk about like the way in which we get speeding fines and what deters us. Is it the signs that are up that says, you're in a district? At the end of the day, I just feel like that with people that speed and the ones that get caught out on this, none of these sort of tricks of the trade is going to stop them or, change the way in which their driving behaviour happens. But I certainly understand that the government makes a considerable amount of money out of fining people for road, car stuff, and that is a great revenue raiser. So, look, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I don't agree at all. I think that just to have a sign there is very important. Look, actually, I've never understood the sign, to be honest with you. If there is a speed camera, then there shouldn't be a sign. There should be no warning for you. The fact that all of these years we've got these massive billboards that say, coming up there's a speed camera, they're throughout New South Wales. Of course, get rid of the
like
signs.
Pill testing. It's like, how they do those pill testing things.
Think so.
Is it a preventative in the sense that people see the signs and they slow down, which prevents an accident or death? Like, I think, it's not about saving the actual driver some money. It's about putting in a little bit of extra fear in place to hopefully deter them from driving badly. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So to remove the sign, though, I think is actually better, because if a driver doesn't know where the speed cameras are, then you'd likely go to the thought of, well, they're going to slow down anyway, because now they don't know where they are. So some of them can be, put up, their mobile speed camera, you won't know that they're there. So the whole idea is that because there's no warning anywhere, you don't know, oh shit, I know where this one's coming, I've got to slow down a little bit. You won't be able to do that. That is a better deterrent. And I've never understood why signs have been in there in the first place. Don't speed.
Robbo,
speeding kills.
With absolutely no factual evidence with this argument I'm about to have with you whatsoever, so just bear with me. But don't you reckon that the government has done, or the Vic roads or whoever roads they are, have done research to realise that those signs have become a preventative, and that's why they continue to use them? And as I say, with no credibility or research...
But clearly they haven't, because they're now saying that they're going to get rid of them because it's more of a deterrent not to have them. So, no, I I
Yeah,
don't think
right.
there has been research to say that having signs there is,
Whatever
is
makes-
good.
Yeah. Whatever makes the road safer. You know, at the end of the day, yeah, we get upset about getting a fine, but I guess it's about preventing death on the roads for not only the negligent drivers, but also the people that they will affect.
Pure revenue raising. Pure revenue raising. Sorry.
Does
it
anyone
is
laugh
just-
how Rob just came in then? It was the best. I'm having a nice conversation with Robbo, and then all of a sudden, in he comes. Pure
I let you
revenue
boys have a chat. I let you have a chat, and then I just had to get my 3 words out. Pure
Thanks,
revenue
Kanye.
raising.
I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah, but can you
It's all
tell?
good.
I think that's a really interesting point, though, Rob, because I think that counteracts what I've been saying. So why do you think that? Aren't speed cameras designed to save lives?
Which they do.
Of course they
do.
make money, but we've got to pay for it, though, right? So to have safer roads, we've got to pay for them. And if that means
Taxes?
that people who speed got to pay the fines, then according to the New South Wales government and Victoria government, all speeding fines that come from cameras go back into road safety. I want safer roads, and I'm willing to have a camera out there that if I do the wrong thing, captures me and I pay money back.
Okay, so what is the argument for these cameras? Is it to raise revenue to fix roads, or is it to save lives?
Save lives.
should be
I
to
think
save
Right.
lives is
So
it is
then
save lives
the argument about putting those funds into roads is null and void, because we have
No.
taxes that can do that anyway. When you see a speed camera and you see that sign, it's a reminder. It's a reminder to stop speeding. So if there are black spots, it is the perfect place for a camera to go with a sign. Because what's the point? If people don't realise the sign's there and they do speed and then they go and have an accident, that hasn't saved a life. The idea that a sign backed up by the camera is deterring people from speeding is the deterrent that will save a life.
Like I've said, I've never understood why you would warn people about a speed camera, because the whole point is that you don't speed. Because when you see a sign, what does everyone do? Oh, there's a sign. Oh, you slow it down, put the cruise control
Which is
down,
exactly what
wait
it's
till we
supposed
get
to do.
past it. No, but it's supposed
I
to
love
stop
you,
you from.
Robbo. I love you,
It's
and your
not
point
meant
is
to
valid.
stop you speeding in that pit. It's meant to stop you
Yeah, but
speeding
Robbo,
over the entire
what you're saying
road.
is logical and it
sorry,
makes
Ben.
sense.
Sorry, Ben. I'm in the middle of an argument here. Sorry. What I'm saying is that it's not meant to stop you speeding for that 500 metres that the camera can get you. It's not meant to do that. It's meant to stop you speeding throughout your entire road journey.
I understand that, but there are signs everywhere saying speed cameras are used. You don't know when there's going to be a hidden police camera, you know, a radar camera or anything like that. So the deterrent is already out there. But what I'm talking about is specific black spots where these cameras do work because of the signage there and people do slow down. That effectively saves lives. This general idea that I don't know where the speed cameras are, so no one's ever going to speed again. Blah, blah, please. And by the way, Rob's hot tip of the day, get an app called Waze, W-A-Z-E.
Oh, yeah.
Because it will tell
Ben
you
uses
where
that.
every speed camera is. Users update it constantly, so even if there are police radars, it will tell you where they are. And I know I'll get
Do they
hounded.
text you?
I liked the prop and you tapped it like an old man. This is where you get it. This is the thing. I loved that. That was
I've
very
got
good.
it open. Waze.
You do? Oh.
Yeah, and it genuinely, honestly, it shows you where the police
fantastic.
officers are, and that's a great deterrent because you're slowing down.
You're going to break your screen.
I love that.
Jesus.
I love that we have a guest coming up who's sitting in the wings. Our guest is sitting in the wings and he thinks he's about to join some sort of demonstration about how to drive on the roads. He's like, I've been asked to be on a driving school show
We'll be
where
getting
they
to
talk
our
about
guest in a
driving.
moment. We'll be getting
the
to
new
our
Top
guest in a
Gear.
moment. He is standing by, but we've got a couple of hot topics to go first because I want to bring this one to you because it's on again for young and old. An Instagram influencer has been roasted and accused of animal cruelty while on a trip in Bali. Jessica Rass thought she'd give her 328,000 followers a nude jungle post. Yet there she is on top of the elephant and here giving the animal a kiss. Rast says the photos were taken very calmly and there were animal protectors to help her get the shot. There she is. But the animal rights, lucky elephant, but the animal rights campaigners slammed the stunt. It was a joke, people. They've long urged people not to ride elephants as they're often kept in appalling conditions and treated badly. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, good.
I think that elephant looks like me on Instagram taking photos of me with my partner after COVID. I think that elephant is me. I have put on too much weight, and I am the fatty with a very attractive man trying to get followers. It's a bad look for me. And the elephant.
What do you think of the picture, though? What
is it
what
outrageous?
Do you think of what she did, Ben?
I think it's great. I think at the end of the day, these Instagram people, they'll do anything for a photo. Oh, well, hang on a sec. I think what she's trying to do is get followers by, exposing, abusing the elephant by, bringing him in to promote it. But look, let's face it, with that body, does she need the elephant? I mean, she could just take photos by herself, couldn't she?
But here's the thing. It's not illegal what she's doing. And look, I understand where animal activists are coming from, Robbo, because some of these elephants are treated appallingly and they're whacked and they're hit. I actually understand all that. But this woman is working within the, she says, the animal protectors there.
Sorry. Working, yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to. It's like a volcano that's about to erupt, and I wanted to give you the respect. To talk,
no, that's apparently the same feeling a lot of her followers had when they saw that picture. They were like a volcano ready to erupt.
Oh my God!
Dirty old man.
Oh my God!
Oh no, I liked that a lot. That was good. Well done.
Thank you.
That was great.
You.
Sorry, go on.
Is this a mountain out of a molehill?
Yes,
well,
it is.
Certainly
it's
a mole
out of a
there,
mole.
Rob. I think that there is clearly a mole that seems to be growing on that elephant, or also kissing him on the forehead. I'm talking about the influencer.
Yeah,
I
we
think
got
anyone
that,
who
Robbo.
watches
You weren't
this
so
program, I wanted to make sure. It says, I can't stand influencers. Now, you might remember a story of where some influencers, there were jacaranda trees, I think, in Victoria that were blossoming, and all of these influencers came and, oh, surprise, surprise, pissed off the neighbours because they were stopping traffic in the streets to get their special picture. Climbing on elephants and riding on elephants is awful. Influencers don't care about the greater periphery of what they're doing. All they can see is that image like that. And this idea of going, oh, let's get an elephant and I'm just going to lie naked on it. Did anyone ask the elephant for consent? I don't think so. So this is kind of just gross. It's classic influencer stuff where they don't care about what's in the picture apart from themselves. So whatever has to happen to get that picture, they don't give a shit. I hate influencers. They're not working, Rob. They are just gross.
But I mean, can you speak elephant? I mean, I could try to speak elephant and ask them if it's okay. Like,
well, I was going to say, Ben, his trunk was erect, so
Oh.
Well, that's not the only thing erect. In the McKnight house.
I've got 100 of them, and Amanda's just like, cut it now, stop it now. So okay.
Let's only get one. What do you mean you've got 100 of them?
This, I've wanted to see the hand come in and slap you, and I thought surely this topic it will get in there where you just think whack. I didn't see. Amanda, just give it to us now. Come on this fun Thursday. Yeah. Oh, wow, that was more than a whack.
Amazing.
She built them up. She pent them up.
I ran into a cupboard, Doctor. I ran into a cupboard.
Okay, let's.
Oh, this is fun. Now.
All right. Well, there are some moments on television that you couldn't even write. Have a look at this man on Wheel of Fortune the other day.
Yeah, there's a while. What do we have?
I'm declaring victory.
Oh, what is that puzzle? Amanda.
V.
Yeah.
Declaring victory.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. $4,500. Amanda, Alex, you look a little puzzled, but you added a word. You said, I'm declaring victory, and you're not allowed to do that. You have to just say the puzzle, and we...
Wow. So the guy, I love that face. The guy, the word was declaring victory, and he said, I'm declaring victory, and that was null and void because he added the word I'm. Wow. That's tough, isn't it, Robbo?
Well, it's tough, but that's what it is. When someone says, what's the puzzle? You can't then go, it's not in there. All this does, though, is make me just... remember Burjo with that beautiful mustache, Adriana Exanides in our local version. Oh, my God, how brilliant that was. But, yeah, he got it wrong. You can't. Sorry. There are rules.
See, that would be the kind of mistake I'd make, Ben. I'd be like, I'm declaring victory, like...
It's a bit of showbiz, isn't it? Showbiz.
Yeah, And the guy's in stunned disbelief. He's like, "What is it? What is it?" And then he sees what it is, and he's like, "But that's what I said. What's going on here? I'm confused."
They're making good. They're making good television. At the end of the day, like the whole thing, like when they've got a good moment that they've set up on a TV show like this, they're going to take it. So look, it was great TV. Everyone's
That's against the rules.
No, come on.
I'm not saying that it's that this segment was set up. I'm saying once the producers realized that they could call it by saying he said they were like, this is a good TV moment. So I think that they fell into that.
They were right. Hey,
yeah, it was good. Everyone's talking about it.
Ben, I want to talk to you about something because we've seen a lot of celebrities start to get parody accounts. Do you know, actually, I literally just remembered, there was a fake Rob McKnight Twitter account for a while called Rob the Knob.
I remember this.
Yeah, there really was.
Yes.
There was a fake Twitter account called Rob the Knob. So it happens to celebrities and me.
People.
But now, Ben, you found yourself in a strange situation, accidentally talking to a fake account this morning. What happened?
Yeah, so as we know, Tim Smith, the politician, has been making a name for himself by saying incendiary comments on Twitter, basically posting tweets to arouse maybe some strife, which can easily be perceived as like inflammatory. So anyway, look, these comments have a tend to try and inflame its audience, and the next thing you know, everyone's engaged. Now, Tim Smith's been doing this really successfully. So I thought when he had found himself in a Twitter war with Fitzy from Fitzy and Whipper, I would ask him to join us on the show to talk about, his more recent posts about Adelaide. So Tim Smith was posting about Adelaide. Anyway, I had no idea because I didn't look for the blue tick, and it did take Fitzy to actually call me and tell me that I was talking to a fake account. So Rob, you're right. There's people out there creating fake accounts of celebrities, even you, my friend. And I want to know, like, is this crazy that we've got to this stage where politicians are so outrageous that they've become who we're mocking? I mean, and that's what's happening with Tim. So look, we now have Jackson, who was the man behind the account of Tim Smith. He's joining us on the show now. So we want to ask him a few questions about why we would find ourselves mocking someone like Tim Smith. Thanks for joining us, Jackson.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
So Jackson, what is the joy you get from doing a parody account?
I don't know. It was kind of inspired by there's a really good one of Scott Morrison on Twitter, and I'd been going through my own personal account, and I followed Tim Smith, and he obviously has been coming out with some quite sensationalist diatribe recently about Daniel Andrews and, calling him Dictator Dan and saying, no, I want to have a beer with him and all that stuff. And I thought, this is a perfect idea to just make some people laugh.
So are you surprised, though, that people took it so seriously when you've got the word parody on your Twitter handle?
Well, originally my Twitter handle was Tim Smith PM, so I changed the M and the P around, and I'd sucked quite a few people in from both sides of the political spectrum into that. My DMs were blowing up, not relatively early on, but once it took off, they were blowing up with people calling me all sorts of names for, having the audacity to call Daniel Andrews a dictator, or from the other side calling me a fake and a fraud, and saying all sorts of other horrible things to me. So yeah, that was a bit of a wake up call, but I didn't expect it to get I didn't expect it to go where it has.
Yeah.
Can we ask you a question? Because this is a really fun one. Apart from stupid people like me, because I'm not the brightest tool in the shed, can you tell us any other sharpest? There we go.
The sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah. Take a leaf from my tree or a page from my book. Oh no, that one. The last one was good.
Why don't you make it like a tree and get out of here?
Can you, Jackson? Can you maybe tell us some other names who may be as stupid as me that believed that you were the real Tim Smith?
I don't know of anyone else who's been, what's the word when you've got the blue tick? I only stumbled across Fitzy's this morning because I follow him anyway. But I know Dave Hughes follows me. I know Hughesy follows me. A couple of journos, and I think even a Labor Party member. So, but I haven't sucked anyone else in with a blue tick as of yet.
Well, Jackson, we appreciate you joining us today, and it's a lot of fun, good work, and maybe you'll fool a few more people. Congratulations, thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Also, I prefer the term parody, not fake.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. That's
fake
a fair
account
point.
makes it sound like fake account makes it sound like I'm trying to impersonate him when really I'm just taking the piss.
Yeah, and you're very obvious about that, so I stand corrected, Jackson. Fair enough, mate.
Thank you. And sometimes, to be honest, he outdoes me with the stupid stuff that he tweets, so it's becoming increasingly difficult.
Jackson, I was going to ask, how do you out stupid?
Good question.
That's a good question. Basically, what I've done is in the bio I've created. What have I done? I basically.
You said Minister for Meat Pies, banisher of something of Mummy's Boy. The P stands for parody. I like Minister for Meat Pies. That's a good one.
What's that?
Yeah.
So I figured, Shadow Minister for Meat Pies was pretty good.
It was. All right, Jackson. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Too easy, guys.
Aussie legend.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, Robbo, let's find out what's happening on this day in history.
I think that's a great idea, Rob. Thank you very much. First, we're going to start with the wonderful Brooke Shields. Let's have a look at that now. It was on this day in 1980 that CBS, the wonderful network that owns 10, banned Calvin Klein's jeans ad featuring Brooke Shields. The actress and model was only 15 years at the time, and the line, "You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing," was deemed too controversial. I got to agree with that. That's a bit gross and weird. And on this day in 1998, Vincent van Gogh, one of my favourite painters, his portrait of the artist without beard sold at an auction for, wait for it, $71.5 million. The painting is believed to have been last ever completed by the trouble artist, done in an asylum near the end of his life. And finally, it was on this day, 15 years ago in 2005, that Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon took on the roles of Johnny and June Cash. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Actor and Actress, and Reese Witherspoon took away the top prize for her role as June Cash. The movie's Walk the Line. Haven't seen it, but I've heard great things. Robert, back to you, friend.
Thank you very much. Well, look, let's do one last hot button issue before we bring in Joe Casamento. Overseas now, and we know Meghan Markle is suing Associated Newspapers in the UK for breaching privacy when a letter she wrote to her father was published in the Mail on Sunday. But as they say in the classics, the plot thickens. The Duchess of Sussex has always denied any personal involvement in a new biography, but has now admitted she did. Although it was through a third person, lawyers for the paper now argue that she has breached her own privacy and therefore has no case against the paper. The court case has been delayed for 9 months. Robbo, can she demand privacy while at the same time leaking to the press?
Absolutely not. All of these people are hypocrites. Like, it's outrageous, Rob. Like, the point is that she's had this massive issue. She's come out all the time and said, that people have warned her against the British tabloids that, look, Harry was a lovely man, but is it worth what the British tabloids will do? They will rip you apart. They will attack you. So she voluntarily went into the Lion's Den. The relationship between the Royals and Fleet Street in London is nothing new. It's very tough. She got the pretty little kind of wedding and all of that kind of thing. And now she's leaking to the press when she's said that she wants her privacy. And what a crock of absolute shit. You can't have it both ways, Meghan Markle. You just can't. Ben, your thoughts on this?
I just love Meghan Markle, and I really have gone on a journey with her because I found her to be a little bit disingenuous when she started. I appreciate that people in these positions, very unknown to us, with the amount of scrutiny on them, that the same sort of rules don't necessarily apply. And yes, they probably feel like they can control the narrative. Unfortunately for them, they can't control the narrative, but I do sympathise with them for wanting that, because at the end of the day, they have separated themselves from the royals, and now the only media sort of attention that they are trying to get themselves involved with is a dangerous thing. It's trying to control the narrative, but it's also creating some amazing things, like I discussed yesterday, about creating open spaces for young minds to talk about bullying online. And I think that's really powerful. So I guess, you know, Rob, it's the old story. You can't have your cake and eat it too, which is frustrating to everyone.
Sorry,
but I understand that.
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, you can't have the narrative. You can't say, oh, some rules don't apply, and when you're really famous, rules shouldn't apply. But when that's fine. If you think that you're rich and famous and rules don't apply to you, that's fine. But then you can't go to a court of the land and expect the court of the land to then do things for you. That doesn't make any sense. You either believe that you essentially are like everyone else and you're going through the court system, or you're not. Like, this is just outrageous. Rob, surely, like, what do you think? You can't, like Ben said, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and this is what she's trying to do.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing. Everyone leaks to the press. Every celebrity tries to control the narrative, right? So what she's doing is trying to show that get her version of events out through a third source. Does that mean she's then not entitled to privacy? I'm not so sure it does.
It almost feels like the definition of hypocrisy to me. Look, I'll decide. Like,
but hang on,
if this is happening
anyway,
you can't sue a newspaper. That's right. You can't sue a newspaper. If the newspaper is printing a letter from you to your father, and you hate that, and you hate it so much that you're going to sue, but then on the other side of the table, you swivel your chair and you're handing journalists other information to a book. I don't understand how you've got any kind of right to then clog up the legal system, use taxpayers' money in order to fight that when, you know, this hand's doing this one thing, this other hand is doing the same thing. I don't understand that. Sorry.
It is a real struggle, though, and I guess it's different to our struggle, like as in it's different to the struggles we might have to pay our bills, you know, the day-to-day. But, you know, it is, and I must admit, I love going down the rabbit hole on YouTube videos when people talk to international celebrities, and there's some really good interviews with Michelle Pfeiffer about her desire to be an actress, and then also the scrutiny that she had behind the press wanting to know personal details about her life. One of her friends OD'd, and the ambulance officer asked her for a photo whilst that happened. You know, what we don't understand about being a celebrity at that level is how inhumane people are willing to be and request. And where is the, you know, and it's all circumstantial. And certainly this situation with Meghan Markle is not of the caliber of what I'm discussing with Michelle Pfeiffer. But the point I'm trying to make is, it must be really hard, and yes, they have millions of dollars, and yes, they've got all this stuff, but at the end of the day, they're real people. And if that's their real issue, then I've got time to listen to it, and if we can behave better as a society, I'm willing to discuss that too.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time for Random Live Shot of the Day.
It's the Random Live Shot of the Day. Where are you going today? You never know where you'll end up with the Random Live Shot of the Day.
You never do know where you'll end up, and this time we are taking you to space. Earlier this morning, Russian cosmonauts went out for a 6-hour spacewalk. The entire spacewalk was streamed live, and although it is now finished, we wanted to show you a little bit. So this isn't exactly a live shot, but it's certainly a very, very special delayed shot. Forecast for space, if you're traveling today, it's a clear day with a top of 0 degrees and a low of 0 degrees. Hopefully the aliens don't mind that. Mary says, Robbo, what is your credit card details, please? I mean, you're famous and you don't have a right to privacy, right? I'm not famous and I don't have a credit card, Mary. So bam, bam. Got you on both of those sides there. But thank you for your comments there, Mary. You're wonderful. Cameron says, Rob needs a giant knife to cut the sides of Ben and Robbo's screens. Lol. He does do that. Have you seen him when he comes in? It kind of he parts the two of us like Moses in the Red Sea. That's the wonderful magic that he has. Jan says, I love that Rob isn't interrupting the guys
Hey,
today.
Jan.
Oh, Jan. Jan, have you noticed? We've all noticed, haven't we? Anyway, that's all right, Jan. Everything you very much.
Love you, Jan.
That we love to hear your feedback. Cheryl Brown says, "Oh, leave Meghan Markle alone. She's doing a great job mothering Harry, and I believe that we should leave Meghan Markle alone. But what should we do with Meghan Markle? I wonder." Penny, I'm just kidding with you. Penny says, "Tim Smith is such a goose. Seriously, the stuff he tweets seems like the joke." Good thoughts there, Penny. And Jason says, finally, a Ben and Robbo exclusive. Ben talks to himself.
That's not exclusive. It happens all the time.
Everyone knows that. Thanks very much, guys, for your feedback. We love to hear from you. You are a massive part of our show. Please share your feedback on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search @BRR Show. We always love to hear from you. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you. Well, it's time for a quick hit of entertainment. Everyone was bound to talk about Diana with the intrigue as soon as we heard The Crown was going to tackle her story in the popular Netflix series. Ben, what surfaced now?
So the BBC has just appointed a former senior judge to head an inquiry into a broadcasters and how they secured a famous 1995 interview with the late Princess Diana. This accusation is a claim from her brother that she had been tricked into taking part of this interview. We have a clip of this very famous interview just to give everyone a refresh. Check this out.
I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts in people's hearts, but I don't see myself being queen of this country. I don't think many people would want me to be queen. Actually, when I say many people, I mean the establishment that I'm married into, because they've decided that I'm a non-starter.
Why do you think they've decided that?
Because I do things differently, because I don't go by a rule book, because I lead from the heart, not the head. And albeit that's got me into trouble in my work, I understand that.
So Earl Spencer alleged that this particular journalist back in the day made a false and defamatory claim about senior royals in order to gain trust and access to his sister 25 years ago. The claim included that the Princess Diana's phone was bugged and that her bodyguard was plotting against her. Look, this is pretty outrageous stuff, but it will be interesting to see how this plays out, as this interview was very controversial at the time, as no one in the media around this time was holding the royals to account. Well, an actual fact, if you're watching The Crown, you might know that Margaret Thatcher was. Check out this moment that was in The Crown, if you're watching it on Netflix, with Margaret Thatcher taking the Queen to task. Check it out.
And a dangerous game, I think, to make enemies left, right, and centre.
Not if one is comfortable with having enemies.
Are you?
Oh, yes. Inspired by the words of the Chartist poet Charles Mackay. You have no enemies, you say. Alas, my friend, the boast is poor. He who is mingled in the fray of duty that the brave endure must have made foes. If you have none, small is the work that you have done. You've hit no traitor on the hip. You've dashed no cup from perjured lip. You've never turned the wrong to right. You've been a coward in the fight.
Oh my goodness. Can I just say, if anyone's not watching The Crown, and I want to confess something, and Kieran Davidson yelled at me about this while we were gearing him up to be on the show today, and that is that I've never watched The Crown, but I've got a huge fascination with a lot of people have with Diana. So I started watching this series yesterday with my partner, and it is just like that scene, engaging, mind-blowing, and it's great television. Guys, are you watching? I don't know. It's just...
Yes, I am watching. I absolutely love this season, but I am aware that there is a lot of press around that's saying that the perceptions or the acting and the storylines that's being put forward by The Crown isn't exactly what was happening. So what we're seeing now, if you're watching it, this is no spoiler alerts here, but they're kind of presenting Charles to be quite an awful person, to Diana to being quite flaky. It's great drama. It is beautifully done, but it's really spurred me to kind of go and investigate and see what was actually happening at that time. But it's a great series.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, Joe Casamento is standing by, so bring me up to speed. Glee fans were left devastated with the death of a popular actress who played Santana Lopez. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, Rob, Naya Rivera's ex-husband has filed a death lawsuit alleging that the boat that she was on didn't comply with safety standards. This is pretty outrageous. Rivera had rented a boat for the day with her 5-year-old son, Josie, whom she saved when she was, she hurled him onto the boat, but then she drowned herself. Ryan Dorsey, who was married to Rivera from 2014 to 2018 and is the father of her child, lodged this document on behalf of Josie on Tuesday with the United Water Conservation District and Ventura County's County Parks and Recreation Management. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not he has a case, but certainly this is still pretty sad news for Glee fans and for the fans of Rivera, who was a great actress.
It is indeed. We'll come back to entertainment in a little bit, but first of all, it's time to talk movies with our favourite popcorn lover, Joe Casamento. Joe, hello.
Oh, hello. Oh, my goodness. You boys give me so much stress every week. I need a drink. I tell you, I think you're all not drinking, but I am drinking.
Joe, you look about 19 today. What are you drinking? Is it is it Eternal Youth? What's going on?
Oh, bless you. I'm going my rock chick look, and you'll know.
Oh, it is working. Am I working?
Hey, Joe's frozen up, but quickly, we've got to go to Robbo anyway. There is some breaking news happening. Robbo, what is happening?
That's right. There are details that's coming through now that Bobby Brown's son, Bobby Brown Jr., has unfortunately passed away. He was only 28 years old. Obviously, he's had a very big connection to Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. This will be another massive blow to the family. As I said, he was 28. He was the second of 2 children born to Brown. We're just getting details right now. And Whitney Houston had their daughter, Bobby Christina. In 2016, Ward claimed that Houston never warmed to the boy and preferred that Bobby spend time with Brown.
Yeah,
so
but Bobby Christina Brown died on the 26th of July in 2015 after her mother. So in this family, Whitney Houston now is dead. Bobby Christina dead, and now Bobby Brown Jr. Did you say his name is?
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, and he said at the time after Bobby Christina's unfortunate passing in 2015, he said on Twitter, "People really don't give an F about you unless you're relevant, and they don't love you till you're famous or gone. I don't want these follows. Your follows ain't going to fill a hole in my heart, and you're all going to unfollow me once you stop caring." That's from a deleted tweet that he did put up on Twitter. Like you said, Rob, it's almost like the Kennedy family. There's a kind of curse happening here, isn't there, where all of these poor, unfortunate souls have met a very early and unfortunate death. Details at the moment are not telling us how and why he did pass away. TMZ has reported the news Wednesday evening American time, so local time currently what we're seeing here. And the police are apparently still at Bobby Brown Jr.'s home. Very sad news.
Ben, this is huge. A whole family, this is devastating. I mean, how do you reconcile this? Like Whitney Houston had a lot of drug problems. Has this crazy lifestyle being passed on to her kids? Like they've lost their mother. This Bobby Brown Jr. then lost his sister. This is just a sad, sad chain of events.
Absolutely. Heartbreaking to hear this breaking news, to be honest with you. I guess like the rest of the world, we're going to try and pick apart the pieces and try and work out what went wrong for this family. I think it's very heavily publicised that the use of drugs within the family was apparent, and I believe that that's probably a lot to do with mental health issues. So I think that there was obviously some mental health issues being masked by their drug and alcohol usage, and it continues to be a really sad story. And I hope from following the other deaths in the family and their struggle with the scrutiny from the media that people will continue to give these people an opportunity to have some peace and to deal with this heartbreaking news.
So, Ben,
the important thing...
Sorry, Rob, I was just going to say, this is the live reporting. This is from page 6. This is the picture of Bobby Brown. So Bobby Brown's son, Bobby Brown Jr., dead at 28, as Robbo has been reporting. Now,
this is the tough thing, though, Rob. Yeah, sorry, Rob. This is the tough thing because we all know that Bobby Brown had some very difficult issues. There was obviously the drug dependency. There was also strong domestic violence reporting against Whitney. They had a very tumultuous relationship. I hope I didn't say this wrong before, but Bobby, the daughter is not Whitney's daughter, but this is the second child that Bobby Brown himself has lost. So
yes,
these two children
I actually needed
lost,
to clarify my earlier statements
Sorry
because
about
I've got to be honest, I wasn't aware of this gentleman. And I'm reading the report. He was the younger Bobby was born to Brown and Kim Ward, with who Brown had an 11-year on and off relationship. TMZ has reported that while police are still at Brown's LA home area right now, so the police are at his home right now, foul play is not suspected.
Yeah, look, as we know in the news business, when the police are very quick to say that foul play isn't included, where there pretty much won't be an investigation, that unfortunately does mean that it would appear that it would be a suicide type event. Which is just terrible. While we're bringing this rolling coverage of breaking news of Bobby Brown Jr.'s death, it's important to remember that there is help out there. If you're experiencing trouble with suicide or anything like that, please go to Beyond Blue or Lifeline. As we can, we'll bring those numbers to you on the screen. But it's very important that you're not alone. It might seem like you're alone, but you are not. This is very, very important. A very big message that the Ben, Rob and Robbo show like to always put out there. This is a very sad news. A young man, 28, obviously had a lot of pressure as well because of his famous parent and his famous stepmother. We've got the crisis support helplines there. Lifeline 13 11 14 and Beyond Blue 1300 22 4838. Very important numbers to remember because we don't want to see, obviously more of this happening. It's a very, very sad occasion. Just bring you up to date on this rolling coverage. We are reporting that Bobby Brown Jr., the son of Bobby Brown, who used to be married to the wonderful singer Whitney Houston, has been found dead at the age of 28. Police, we understand, are still on site at his house, but they have ruled that the death is unsuspicious, which means that he has most likely taken his life. A very sad tale, Rob, for a family that's dealt with so much.
Yeah, and look, Robbo, this is the TMZ reporting who I think broke this story. And I want to go down to the picture here because you can see the family unit here. So if I can use my mouse, you can see the picture showing Bobby Brown Jr., you can see Bobby Christina. So they were a bit of a family unit. There, of course, is Whitney when she was alive. So out of this family, while they might have had different mothers, they were a family unit. We've lost Whitney, we've lost Bobby Christina, and now Bobby Brown Jr. This is a terrible day for these people. But look, that's where we have to leave it today. I'm sure Tika will report more on this throughout the afternoon and the evening. We will see you next week on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show. Keep your spirits up. Call helplines if you need them. Thank you for that reporting, Ben and Robbo. We will see you next week.
Bye.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo show.